I'm Dr. Cindy Chapa. I'm an assistant professor and the associate director for the Center for the Study of Latino Media and Markets. And I'm here with Sandra Aro. Sandra, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Sandra, I want to show you a video. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
9 years ago, I moved up here from Mexico. I was just kind of like, okay, I don't know now, because I didn't know the language, and it was like really hard kind of adjusting to the new school system, like as to like there's a lot of different cultures here, and I was used to just Hispanics. But after I learned the language, which didn't take me that long, I decided that I was gonna go.
Okay.
How do you feel?
Good. I was so young. And I was so still, I guess, naive in a way to a lot of things. Definitely from there until now, I have somewhat of the same perspective, but in a way I feel like that made it that much better for me now. Or as far as my career-wise, growing up, being able to, I guess, I understand now that that made me that much better after I got out of school.
Oh, now let's talk a little bit about the video and your participation.
Mm-hmm.
Did your family watch it?
No, they didn't get to see it. I don't
No?
think they did see it, no.
Okay. And how were you selected to be part of the project?
I had a friend, she worked at the counseling center, and I met her, and ironically we ended up having like the similar friends, and then she just found out that I was a first generation. So then she asked me if I wanted to participate, and I said, okay, I'll do it.
Did you tell your parents?
Yes, they did know about that. And they just
Okay.
kind of asked me like what it was about, because throughout the first years or my 4 years in college, we actually even went to high schools and kind of spoke to students about why it was important to come to school. And so I did let my parents know about that.
I'm just surprised. Why didn't they watch it?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't think
Did
I
any
thought-
of your friends or...
My friends
Okay.
did that I went to school here with, and some of the people that I work with here, because I was working at the disabilities office then, so a lot of the students that were working
Did it
there
mean
then.
something to be part of the project 8 years ago to you? Did it make you realize about new things and the importance of education?
Right. I mean, it just kind of gave you more of understanding as to why it is that you're here and why it's important, to encourage others to do so, because maybe you didn't have that. Everybody lives different lifestyles, so some do get encouraged to go and some never get encouraged to continue education if their parents didn't go. So definitely coming from Mexico, I understand about the importance of it, because over there not a lot of people have that choice. Even wanting to go, they have the want to go, but they can't. So definitely here you have a choice. It's up to you whether you make it happen or not.
So your parents didn't have that opportunity.
No, they
What
never
did they
did.
tell you at the time?
My mom just always kind of talked to me about, my mom loves reading. So, I mean, if you meet my mom, you probably think that she did go to school, but because she loves reading. So she's very knowledgeable. So they always kind of said, if we came here, it's for a reason. We didn't move here just to chill. Like you came here to do something with yourself. If you didn't want to be here, then we could have just stayed home.
Okay, now let's talk about your life here.
Mm-hmm.
What was your major? When did you graduate? Tell us a little bit about it.
I graduated in May of '06 from the college, McCoy College of Business, with a management degree. And I always wanted to be in management ever since I was in high school. I graduated in 4 years because I knew for once I didn't have the resources to be here 5-6 years. So I had to do it in 4 years, and I had to figure it out how to do it.
And how did you do it?
Staying here over the summers and working and taking summer classes.
Okay.
Or my first year I did go home, but I still took summer courses over there at the Lee College, at the local.
Were you nervous when you were getting close to graduation?
Somewhat, yes,
Okay.
because you just kind of like, oh, am I going to do it or not do it? And you're just worried about that one class or that one test. And even getting into the College of Business, because you had to have a certain GPA to get into it. And just, I didn't want to fall behind because I had my time frame, like it was going to be in 4 years. So I did worry a little bit there getting into it, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get in it or not. And my biggest fear was that I had to be here another year, because I wouldn't meet my expectation.
Tell me about the university and after graduation. Do you have any mentors? Being a first generation of a graduate, who helped you with the, job
I
hunt?
think when you're a first generation student, you have to, from 12th or 11th grade, you have to start preparing yourself for it because your parents are not helping you necessarily with applications. So you learn to speak up and you learn to find resources. So when I came here, I can't say there was one person, because I actually took advantage of speaking to each professor or instructor, or even if they didn't want to help, I would still go to them and try to get help because you have to open paths for yourself. And I've been taught that since I was little. You don't just... So, overall, I never had really bad experiences with professors, so I can honestly say that the staff here really helped.
Okay. So you graduated and you went back home.
Mm-hmm. I graduated.
Because you didn't have a job.
Because I didn't have a job.
And then what happened?
Well, I was offered a job here at the Marriott Hotel, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to do that or go into management in hotel.
Why?
Just because my heart was not that much into it. It was just a job to stay here, and I didn't want to start off my career like that.
Okay, so the family didn't play a role in that?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. So, went back home, and then I applied in jobs in Houston, and I graduated in May of 06, and I got a job and I moved back because I still had my my apartment here in August, and I was still working here part-time at a call center. And in September of 06, I got my first job.
Oh, it didn't take that long.
No, I didn't,
okay.
But I didn't start off at the top. I took...
Okay, tell us about the obstacles that you had during the process and, not having someone backing you up or teaching you how to navigate in this new system of a professional life.
Right, exactly. So I started applying at jobs. Obviously, quickly I found out that if you don't have experience, it doesn't matter that you have a degree, because a lot of places, they want you with experience. And so I applied at this trading company, international trading company, that's what they did. And I met with the owner, and it was in North Houston, and he was just like, look, if you want to start off, we can start you off as a receptionist. I said, that's fine. And he said, I'm going to give you this. After 90 days, I'm going to review you. And if you do a good job, then you have the opportunity to advance. So I just took it because I was like, this is it. Like, it's now or never. It was a job.
So you're mentioning that education is important, but also experience. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about it. So do you think that those who are having just experience in education will be having the same opportunities?
No, I think definitely that having an education helped me because he gave me an opportunity and he saw the willingness in me doing whatever to get to where I wanted to get to. And so, I was fortunate with that company, or I don't know. I'm not going to say. I think it had to do with my education, obviously, that he gave me the chance, but too, my willingness to just start off at the bottom.
Okay. Now, tell me a little bit about the behavior of your parents and your family. I know that you have a big family. Tell us about it. What did they tell you when you graduated? And then when you went back home and you didn't have a job, and then what did they tell you when you got the job?
Well, my parents were really happy. My dad, as always, was like, well, you got the job now, just stick to it and commit to it 110%, and you'll see the end result, And so they were always very supportive, and from, basically the first thing they said, graduating in 4 years from college, that was a big commitment. So just stick to whatever job you have, stick to it, and you'll get to where you want to get to.
And now your goal to graduate in 4 years, it was because of financial?
Financial. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Financial, because you have, living expenses. You're not working full-time, you're working part-time. So it's not like you're working 4 years full-time. I'm working part-time. Yes, I'm getting assistance from the government, but at the same time, just living anywhere, you're going to spend money, extra things, you get sick, whatever, you don't have insurance. So there's a lot of things that expenses that I was like, in 4 years, I have to do it in 4 years. And I did pretty good. I graduated in 4 years with only owing $13,000. So it was pretty cool. I am proud of that.
Okay, now tell me, you graduated. I want to learn I want to know more about the reaction of your family. Because it was something huge. You were the first generation.
Right. Like, my sister couldn't come to my graduation. She pushed me a lot because she wasn't able to go to college. A 4-year university, she did a 2-year associates. But because she moved here when she was a 12th grader in high school, so for her, she was still learning English in 12th grade. So it was very hard, and my parents were still working and trying to make something. So they didn't have the funds, and she wasn't knowledgeable of everything that was out there, so she just kind of lucked out. So she always pushed me, and so she was very emotional about the whole thing.
I am, just by listening to you. So tell me, what would you do for your cousins or your friends who are in the same situation?
I think just kind of tell them that, it's possible if they really want it. Obviously, from when your parents come in here, there's a lot of obstacles that as a family you encounter, but it is very possible.
And what do you think that we need to do in order to teach them how to navigate and do all the process so they can go to college and not lose the opportunity like your sister? Do you want to tell us more about it?
I definitely think that, it's great that we did first generation students here in college, but I think there should definitely be a first generation's high school program. You start a program at a high school, with students that are already seniors or juniors, and not necessarily first generation students, but you want to get students that maybe have a little bit more of a background where they can start educating first generation since freshman year and start preparing them and start letting them know and kind of help them with applications or whatever is necessary.
Okay, now let's talk about the role of the education. Do you see yourself as a role model for your family, your friends, your community?
I think so. In a way, it's not something that you sit there and think about every day, but I do feel that, the actions, the way you behave, and, especially people that have known you and your history and everything does matter and does affect them and does want them to either want to be around you or not, So I do feel, I have little nieces that are always talking about in your school and I want to go to your school and just little things like that. So I do definitely think it matters.
What did your sister has been telling you about your career?
She's proud of me, of course. She's my older sister. She's 5 years older than me.
Do you have any older siblings?
And my brother, he's a year younger than me. He graduated from here too. Last year.
Oh, great.
Yes. So I kind of help them. Like, if my sister needs help with anything, she'll come to me, especially with writing. Then, I'll help her in her job with whatever I can. And I'm the same way with my brother. If he needs help with his resume or a paper, whatever he had going on, then I was always there willing to help him in any way that I could.
How do you see your life
right now?
Compared with your expectations when you were here a student? Yes.
I think so far it's turned out pretty well, I definitely feel like there's so much more for me to learn, Seeing the video now and then, I can only imagine 10 years from now.
Where do you want to see yourself in 10 years?
I definitely think that management is my thing, and I don't know if I'll still be at this job, but I do plan to make this a permanent job. For now, just because it's so convenient. It's like a block from my house and like 2 blocks from where my daughter goes to school. So I do see myself growing in that and maybe eventually even owning a business. I'm not sure yet.
That's great plans. Tell me, what kind of recommendations or message would you give to parents who are, still thinking about sending the child?
Maybe possibly
sending their kids to college.
Okay, I think definitely keeping an open mind. With our culture especially, a lot of the parents are like, no, that's not for you. There's other things for you to do. But with parents, I think it's to know that, would you want your child to be where you are today? Or wouldn't you rather have your child do something else other than what you did? It's a different time. It's a different year. It's a different era, and definitely you want your kids to do better than you. And I think that's a normal thing for any parent that loves their kids. So
what is your message to the children, to your youth?
To the youth is just to not give up. You know, if they want to do something, is to, you know, find help. If you don't have that support at home, know that there's a library and there's always resources. There's always, you know, help out there. You just have to seek for it and you have to look for it, and you can't just give up because you don't know how.
Now, what is your recommendation or your message for those who are close to graduation?
Close to graduation.
Yes, panicking because they are going to graduate and they don't have a job.
Okay, you don't have a job, but you mean like from high school and they don't have a job yet, or
no,
just
from
college?
Mm-hmm.
Not to panic, but to also be willing to just work, take a job. Take a job. Your degree is a base for growing. So even if you're just going to be working at a fast food place, you know, there's no limits, basically. If you have a base now, getting an education definitely gave me a base, but I've learned so much more doing it and being able to apply what I learned here. So being willing to just taking a job and taking a chance and knowing that if they put 110%, it doesn't matter what kind of job, you will excel eventually.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
No problem. Thanks.